So you're a sex worker?
No. I only sometimes have sex with them.
Okay, so you're a liar.
I'm an actor.
Hi, I am Geneva Willis. I'm one of the co-creators, writers, and producers of The Party, and I'm here with one of my favorite cast members. Want to introduce yourself, Zach?
It's me, Zach Kumaishi. I played Yorick on The Party.
And we're here to talk about The Party. Well, Zach, I'm just gonna start us off with a compliment. Because you are one of the most interesting human beings I've encountered. I remember when we got your resume and I was like, he teaches D&D to children, he does martial arts, and I'm told now that you are a drink master. Explain how you collected all of those skills.
I mean, I do a lot of things. I was the kind of child that got thrown at a lot of hobbies, and then, you know, some of them stuck and some of them didn't. So I think between the ages of 5 and 8, I did gymnastics, baseball, soccer, martial arts, piano, art. Did a lot of reading. I started a lot of things, and then most of them kind of ended up by the wayside. But I kept a good amount of them. And among that, and theater. That was, of course. So the D&D teaching is through what used to be my childhood, like children's youth theater, kind of like community theater thing. So I work with them, I contract with them, usually for the summers and like on breaks. And one of the things that we've done recently is like just a D&D camp, teaching how, you know, improv and collaborative storytelling can work into Dungeons and Dragons. And it basically just means I get paid to play D&D with a bunch of middle and high schoolers. So like, win-win.
Honestly, you are winning right now. I think you're living out the dream to get paid to play D&D at this point. Mm-hmm. What has your acting journey been like? How did you go from doing it as a kid to where you are now?
I did theater for my undergrad. I applied to a bunch of different schools, and I didn't apply for theater for all of them. I tried for writing and art and undeclared, anything that wouldn't make me money, you know what I mean? And I got accepted into UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television.
Congrats.
Shout out to our wonderful costume team, Kai and Maeve, some friends from those years. And yeah, so I went there for 4 years. I focused in acting with like a specialization in stunt fighting and martial arts choreography. So a lot of martial arts in that time. Speaking of you know, like not knowing what I wanted to do with my life and being like, oh, I don't know, here are all these like manners of storytelling. So like when it came to books that I enjoyed, when it came to movies or, you know, comic books or any of that, good, interesting depictions of conflict are so fun. My favorite part of D&D is the combat, right? I started martial arts super young. I've trained in over 10 different martial arts from anywhere between 1 and 15 years.
Do you want to name all 10?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so in order of participation, most to least, Aikido, Hapkido, Capoeira, Filipino martial arts, boxing, Savate, which is like French kickboxing, Muay Thai, a little bit of JKD, a little bit, I did an amazing workshop in Hawaiian Lua, which is Hawaiian martial arts. Very cool. I'm probably missing a couple.
I think that's more than the average person.
Yeah.
I am sufficiently impressed.
It's a jack of all trades kind of thing. I'm not trying to be a black belt in any one thing, but I love different methods of movement.
What made you want to audition for Yorick, though?
I believe I went back and I checked because I was like, did I? I first pitched myself for Yorick, and then you guys wanted to see me for both John and Yorick after that.
We had to explore our options.
Because, no, I get it. I'm like, I have Jean vibes as like, you know, my general type. But I just, you know, I saw a lot of commonality in Yorick. He's just a big old theater nerd who loves playing just, you know, a fey, you know, mask of many faces warlock Come on.
As one does.
Come on.
Ink and Magic on Instagram. Thank you, Ink and Magic, for watching. Question for the actors. What is something that really helped you get into character?
This was something that worked for me, not like in like the, the actor's preparation kind of thing, but just as soon as we got on set. I feel like when I first started my concept for Yorick, he was very like, he was very up here. He was a little stuck up, a little snooty. But then as soon as we were at the table,
you just started lounging.
Because our DP was like, we just need you a little bit lower so that we can see everyone's faces. Can you just Yorick's posture just slowly just became just this all the time.
A limp noodle.
Just a puddle. And yeah, getting into that nice slouch every scene that I was in, it really changed a lot about Yorick, but I think for the best.
Nephlite on YouTube. What do you have in common with your character and their D&D character?
There's a lot of different kinds of nerd, but Yorick's a theater nerd, He's like a Shakespeare.
Yes.
Chekhov. Give me some of that.
We love our little theater nerds.
Which I can relate to. I feel like, again, Fey Warlock, Mask of Many Faces, actor feat, a great part of my D&D journey. One of my first characters was a changeling Fey Warlock.
Ooh.
And so I was just like, that guy right there. So yeah, I feel like we have that in common. Yorick's a lot more everything than I am, but that's just the narrative.
He's living life on 11, I have to say.
He's really got it all turned up.
Yeah. Frog in the Box on Instagram asks, what's the funniest thing that happened to you during filming?
I ripped my pants. I ripped a big old hole in them.
How did that happen, Zach? Please explain to people.
I was, being a little flippy spinny boy.
He was doing martial arts on lunch.
Hey, and maybe I got a little too rambunctious, and I went through a full scene with just a big old tear in my pants. Big old tear in my pants. The kind where the costume department looked at it and went, "Ooh, that's not fixable." That is. It's like, those knives that have like 3 edges to them so you can't sew them back up?
Wait, what?
Like there are specific weapons of war that are created to make wounds and cuts that can't be like easily stitched together. That was the reaction of what I had done to my pants.
I know this will be hard.
Okay.
But do you have a favorite episode or scene that you filmed? Preferably one where your pants weren't ripped.
Yes. I think my favorite scene that we filmed was, for pure nostalgia and emotion, the Viola Yorick scene in episode 6.
Oh, the one on the steps?
The one on the steps, because we shot that one on one of our last days of pickups. So, everything was like feeling very final, and I had this great, character-heavy scene with April, and like we got to see everyone again, and it was very lovely. And then it was just kind of, a lot of that scene was just, fucking around and ad-libbing stuff as we walked off into the sunset. So we just had a lot of fun and tried a bunch of stuff. So I think that one's my fave.
Well, thank you all for joining us this week. We will be back next week with more questions with the lovely Zach. Tune in.
Okay, do it again.
Yeah, do you chewing gum the whole time?
No amount of bodily disfigurement from your narrow escape of the triangle shirtwaist fire could stop wanting you. I'm just so glad you suspended. It's going southern. I'm just so glad you suspended.